Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another edition to the Point Podcast. Excuse my voice. I got a little bit of a cold. My nose is a bit nasally today, but we're going to fight through it because we're going to preview week 10 in the NFL today. Also talk some college football. We are a few hours away from a couple of great games today, and we'll also dive into the college football rankings. As you all know, my guest today, Matt Wright, and I love college football, and we hate the committee. And I'm sure we'll talk about why we hate the committee, but before we get there, Ryder, thanks for coming back on. And how are things going at Champions?
Things are great, Jug. Thanks for asking. Real busy this week. We had our ID camps for spring hockey 2022. Kind of weird that you do your ID camps before Christmas, but already kind of in spring hockey mode. But we had over 200 kids try out for our 2015 to 2011 age groups, making me feel old with the 2015s out there. I always find it funny. We had 31 kids try out for 2015, and 30 of them wrote down forward as their position. So happens every year, where you got a bunch of forwards until you find out who's actually defense or goalie. But it went really well. We had a lot of kids, and things are going well, buddy. So thanks for asking.
Oh, it's good to hear. And before we start, I also want to mention congrats to a friend of the show, Zach Fucali. Great guy. I interviewed him in the summer and plays Thursday night against Detroit, gets a shutout. And there's also a great video on Facebook of him getting like the game puck and the shield for the game. And Zach's just a great guy, and I know you've watched him with Halifax and everything, Ryder, and just great. 27 years old to battle and to finally get an opportunity. I couldn't be happier for him.
Yeah, you really have to tip your cap to him. I'm sure there's been times over the years where playing, being a high pick, playing for Team Canada, you want to get that success right away. You want to be in the NHL by 19 or 20. But you know what? For the most case, that doesn't happen. And a lot of players never end up making it. The fact he stuck with it, grinded it out, played the game because he obviously loves playing the game. I have some buddies who have played with him, played against him, say he's just an awesome guy. And the fact he gets rewarded and goes in for his first game, gets a shutout, you got to tip your cap. Congratulations to him. On another note, actually another goaltending thing, Champions Hockey, one of our goaltending coaches, Tanner Summers, got his third stringer for UNB. He's gotten his first game ever for UNB, started last night against Acadia, 6-1 win.
Wow.
Only 8 saves. UNB played real good defensively, but great to see a guy like that, another thing, sitting on the bench 3 years, never know if you're going to get in. So congratulations to Tanner. Real happy for him there. But yeah, for Cali, that's awesome. And hopefully that's just the first of many.
Yeah, I mean, even if it's not Washington, seeing a guy get a win, and clearly they like him because they put him in real quick. But yeah, hopefully he could come back and play real soon in the NHL. Let's start with college football because there are some there's games we'll talk about. There's also the Cam Newton and the OBJ of the world, which we'll get into. But college football top 4 this week. Oh, our favorite little committee. It goes as follows: Georgia, Alabama, Oregon, the Ohio State, who we knew we had to get in there. Cincinnati undefeated 5. Oklahoma undefeated 8. Michigan State behind Michigan, even though they defeated them just 2 weeks ago. What bothers you the most about this ranking system, just with those top 8 teams, Ryder?
What doesn't bother me is the question. The first thing is the fact Cincinnati's still not in. You just got to shake your head at that. Another big win last night, Cincinnati. Yep. Big win. They've done what they need to do again, so they can sit back today and watch. But the fact they're not in really bothers me. The Michigan thing, that's just mind blowing to me. It makes no sense. Yeah. I just don't see how I don't get it at all. And the Ohio State sneaking in, of course, right? Of course, you got to get Ohio State in there. Just everything about it and the fact Alabama's still number 2. Oklahoma's probably shaking their head. What the hell? Why are we not in there? There's just so many things that are wrong. It's like I say 2 wrongs make a right. Right. 2 wrongs don't make it right. There's about 10 wrongs here. So I don't know. The only good thing is Georgia's the best team in the country. So that's good to see. And I mean, Oregon's a good team. So I'm happy they're there. But at the same time, Cincinnati should be in. And the fact Michigan is ahead of Michigan State is mind blowing.
Yeah, no, I'm happy for Georgia as well. They should be there. But Alabama, what drives me nuts is they say, well, Cincinnati barely beat Tulsa. Well, Alabama barely beat LSU, and LSU is no good this year. Like, they stink. They only beat them by 6 points. Right.
They barely beat Florida too.
Yeah, Florida's firing all their coaches, but yet this powerhouse program. Yeah. Purdue, who plays Ohio State today, they are just the upsets. Yeah, they beat your Iowa State earlier. They beat Michigan State last week. I doubt they beat Ohio State today, but they just find ways to be a pain in the ass. Like, they're not a great football program, but they love to play spoiler. So do you think they have any chance of beating the Ohio State today?
Well, here, hot take coming from me. Purdue over the last 3 years has had winning football against top 5 ranked teams.
Right.
They're not a great program, but they find a way. They'll lose to a team they should beat, but they find a way to at least keep it close or beat these top programs. And I'm telling you, if Purdue can beat Ohio State, I think we see Cincinnati go in. I think you have to get them in there.
Yeah.
So I'm a big Boilermaker fan. And even more so, you know who's beat Purdue this year? Notre Dame, baby.
Oh,
Notre Dame. So if they're judging rankings, you get Purdue beating Ohio State. You sneak Cincinnati in. You say, wow, Cincinnati, good team. Purdue beat Ohio State. Who beat Purdue? Notre Dame. Don't count my Fighting Irish out, baby. Let's go, Purdue.
Yeah, that could be something. The thing is, and this is also interesting, they don't put Cincinnati in, but Cincinnati has a win over Notre Dame. Notre Dame has been in 2 of the last 3 college football playoffs. So clearly they love Notre Dame. How does that get more respect? Like Ohio State lost to Oregon. Okay, they're 3. That's fine. But Oregon gets no respect. We know how much the committee hates the Pac-12. Hates it. They don't care. And Oregon is there. So let's pivot to Oklahoma. Oklahoma's 8. Don't know how they're 8. I'd be pissed off. If I was a fan of Oklahoma, I'd be losing it. If I was 8 behind some of these teams. If they went out, I think they play Baylor. I know they play Oak State. They got some interesting games down the stretch. They got a tricky schedule, but it'll be impressive wins if they do. And obviously they'll have to play in the Big 12 championship game, likely against Oklahoma State again, or potentially Baylor. Yeah. But if they run the table, are they in?
Well, I mean, if they run the table, they're probably, it's hard to say because you're going to see an SEC championship game.
Yeah.
You might see Alabama lose that. If they do, then they're definitely in. I think, Oregon probably could lose another game too. They get Oregon sneaky in the fact that they could lose another game too. I think if Georgia loses a game, they're still going to be in top 4. Yeah. I think Georgia, I don't know. Honestly, like, if you want to watch Georgia the next few weeks, that's great. But I don't even think you have to watch Georgia the next few weeks.
No.
I think there's bigger things at play. I think Georgia gets in regardless of what happens over the next few weeks. I mean, unless they completely fall off, but I really don't think they're going to.
Right.
So to me, if Oklahoma wins out, I think there is going to be another team that has 2 losses. I think they'll find a way to get in.
Right. Yeah. They play Baylor today.
That's going to probably be their hardest game, I would say, today. If they can win today, they're probably going to win out. I think they win I think they win their championship game. I think they're better than any team in that conference. But what they need to happen is they need Oregon or Ohio State to lose the game.
Yeah,
they need both probably to lose a game.
Cincinnati needs some chaos. Cincinnati wants to see what if Georgia beats Alabama in the SEC championship game. So Alabama would have 2 losses. Do you think they could still get in?
I think they find a way to make Alabama number 4.
That's so gross.
So I think it's more important. I think potentially the game. Honestly, I think the Purdue game today against Ohio State could be one of the biggest games of the year for Cincinnati.
Right.
And potentially Oklahoma.
Yeah.
The Big 10, Big 12 championship games are going to be very important. So I think the SEC championship, I think if Alabama loses, they somehow find a way to put them number 4.
Wow, that's so crazy.
Yeah. But it's crazy to think that, but we've seen over the years how it's happened so many times.
No, you're right.
Like we're not even like, we're saying it's crazy, but deep down we're like, well, it's probably going to happen.
Right. So, yeah. No, you're right. No, I totally agree. Next week, Michigan State, Ohio State.
Yeah.
It's a big game.
Very huge game. Ohio State's got a tough schedule.
Yeah. They got Purdue, Michigan State, and then Michigan. I believe. I think that's the rest of their schedule. What if would you prefer to see Michigan beat Ohio State? Coach Khaki Pants?
Oh man, I hate both those teams.
Yeah.
I don't hate, hate might be a strong word, but I really dislike both programs, especially as a Notre Dame guy too. I just both those teams get so much respect every year.
They do.
It's if you have let's say you're picking a basketball team in elementary school and you got a kid who's maybe mid-pack, but if it's Michigan, he's going, oh, he's pretty good, I'm going to take him. And you got probably a lot of better kids on the sidelines going, why that guy? What does he have that I don't, right? You got little Jimmy sitting there going, I'm just as good as that guy. I'm probably better. Yeah. But he's always getting picked ahead of me. That's a big game though. I'd like to see both of them lose. Can I get a tie? A tie would be great. Because then they both don't get a win.
What do you make of the new overtime format? After the 2 overtimes, they go to 2-point conversions. Are you a fan or no?
Oh man, that was exciting.
Yeah, it was quite a game.
It would have been more exciting. They went 9 overtimes in the Penn State game, 7 or 9 overtimes. I was watching it. No, I was watching it. It was exciting. And the fact neither team could do anything was crazy. They both missed 6 straight attempts, 2-point conversions.
So inept.
It was crazy. And the thing is, I had the over in that game. Ooh. And I was watching it go, man, if they keep scoring 2-point conversions, I'm not out of this thing. Right. I was 15 points back and they both couldn't put any in. And exciting football. I like it. I think I would rather have the touchdowns still than the 2-point conversions. But at least college football, the one thing college football does is they try and make it as exciting as possible, and they will try new things. Right. I find the NFL can get a little stale sometimes, but at least in college football, they try new things. Whether they work or not, at least they try. Right.
No, I agree. I watched that game too, and it was nuts. I was like, what the heck? How could you be this bad at 2-point conversions? Some of the plays. Looking at today's games, Michigan, Penn State. Smell an upset?
No, I know. I don't. I think Michigan's still a little banged up. Or not Michigan, sorry. I think Penn State's still a little banged up. Penn State did have a good effort there last weekend. Played hard till the end. That was a tough game. That's going to be harder to bounce back after that tough game.
Yeah.
But it could happen. I would love to see it happen. I like Penn State more than I like Michigan, but I don't think it does, but I think it's going to be probably within a 2-score game for sure.
Right. Yeah, I agree. I think Michigan gets by. Maryland, Michigan State. Eddie, you think Michigan State bounces back after a loss last week?
Yes, I do. Maryland's a tough game. Maryland puts points on the board, but one thing about Maryland, they'll look so good for 10 minutes and they'll look so bad for the next 10.
Yeah.
They're Jekyll and Hyde there, but I'm going to go. I think they get by, but once again, I think it's a close game, closer than probably people think. I don't know what the line is on that one. I'll probably have to check. Anything more than 7, I'll probably put some money on Maryland, but I think Michigan State gets by. They're too good not to. Their running game's too good.
Yeah, your Notre Dame Fighting Irish are on ABC tonight, prime time. against Virginia. I don't know why that game was scheduled for prime time, but nevertheless, that should be a good platform game for Notre Dame. Put up some points, hopefully.
Yep. Hopefully, you mean knowing Notre Dame, they'll find a way to win by like 2.5.
Yeah.
Like there's like 2 points, 3 points, but it's a game they should win by multiple scores. Honestly, they're not going to get into the top 4 as much as I was, hot taking it earlier. They're probably not going to get in, but if they can, put together finish the season with a couple more wins, they could get a real good bowl game, help for recruiting for next year. The loss to Cincinnati, like I said, it killed them earlier in the year. Especially
when 5.
What's that?
They could maybe get to 5, but
they could maybe get to 5. 5 doesn't get you in the dance, but they could get up to 5, 6, especially, like I said, see what happens in that Purdue game today.
Yeah.
But Notre Dame is going to finish top 10, I believe, this year. And I think I didn't expect them to get in this year at all. I think they're doing better than what I predicted, especially at the start of the year.
Yeah.
What we saw from Notre Dame at the start of the year, we thought this could be a 3-4 loss team. So they've kind of pulled it together a bit. I'm excited for the game. Probably not one I'm going to be, I'm not like this is going to get us in or anything by that, right? But it's definitely a game they should win. And I'm definitely interested to see what happens in that Purdue game. But I'm happy to see that at least Notre Dame's playing some good football.
Yeah, I mean, they've got one loss. So, they're having a good year. Through all the quarterback controversy and injuries and, whatever, they still find ways to win. So,
yeah,
kudos to Notre Dame. They do it year in, year out. Looking big picture, the draft in April. Do you think, last year we saw all the quarterbacks go, Mac Jones and Trey Lance and Justin Fields, Trevor Lawrence, obviously, Zach Wilson. How many top 10, quarterbacks do you think are going to be in this year's draft? Because I don't know if there's going to be that many.
I don't know if there's going to be any.
Yeah.
Maybe one. I think one at most. Who that is? Good question.
Yeah.
But I think there's going to be one. The thing is, you've seen over the last few years the amount of quarterbacks that have been taken in the NFL, which has kind of been a really shift from 10 years ago to where it is now in quarterbacks. But you look at the quarterbacks this year, Justin Fields hasn't really done much, even though he had a good second half this past week.
Yeah.
On Thursday night, Justin Fields, look at Zach Wilson, hasn't really done much. Mac Jones, arguably maybe the best
I think he's by far the best. Yeah.
And I mean, I'm not just saying that because I'm a Patriots fan, but arguably he's been the most steady. Trevor Lawrence hasn't, done anything special. I don't think he's been terrible, but he hasn't been great.
Yeah.
I don't think there's going to be many go. I think maybe you might see one go in the top 10, maybe 2 in the first round.
Yeah.
If that.
And if there's more, it's because teams are reaching.
Yeah.
They feel like they need one, but Desmond Ritter is a good player, but I don't there's too many things I look and say, I don't know if he's going to be a great NFL quarterback.
I think you see Desmond Ritter go in the second or third round.
Yeah.
Kind of like a Stidham did a few years ago.
There's a better arc.
What's that?
Hopefully he's a better arc than Stid.
Yeah. I agreed. But I don't see Ritter going in the first round. I think he's a good college quarterback, but I don't see people stretching to take him in the top, especially not in the top 10, maybe late first round, but
right. Yeah. I heard Kenny Pickett. I know there's over 30 scouts at that UNC Pitt game on Thursday night for watch Sam Howell and Kenny Pickett. So,
yeah.
But Howell's had a bad year.
Howell's really hurt. If there's one player that's hurt himself in college football this year, it's Howell. I mean, we were talking preview show before the year, him potentially going number 1 overall in the draft.
Yeah, him and Spencer Rattler.
Yeah, that's just wow. How the turntables have turned, my friend.
Yeah,
but crazy to see. But that Pittsburgh is a great football team. I got to give them props in college football.
Yeah.
There's a game to watch. Pittsburgh's a team, man. This year's been huge for them. I think their recruiting is gonna have a real good class in college football.
Yeah.
But Pittsburgh's been known for a team not to have the offense. They've been known as a shutdown team, running game, win a hard game,
right.
20-17, but they've been putting up some points.
Yeah, Kenny Pickett could throw it. throw it all over the yard, threw for 500 yards a few weeks ago. But yeah, no, they're on the rise for sure. And if you are Spencer Rattler, do you transfer and play another year and hope to get back up to where your draft status was before this year started?
Uh, yeah, I think you use the Joe Burrow effect.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think you kind of have to. The one thing we see with, I think the NFL more than any other league, if you don't go in the top round as a star, it's better to go back and play another year and maybe not get drafted than it is to fall to the third or fourth round. I find third or fourth round, second, third, fourth round quarterbacks, just quarterbacks.
Yeah.
They don't really get a lot of love from NFL teams, really. It's like if you're
No.
not that top first, if you're not a first rounder, you're probably not seeing much action.
Yeah, you got to be special. I mean, it's
gotta be
rare, like
special.
Russell Wilson, Dak
Yeah.
Prescott, but you have to show it or an injury. Like Tony Romo blew out his back, so Dak Prescott got that opportunity. But yeah, I agree. You know, Rattler right now, I mean, he's like a 6th, 7th round pick if he goes to this year's draft. So maybe you go to where Joe Burrow was.
Yeah.
LSU could use a quarterback. They're gonna have a new head coach. That you know, maybe that's a place where you look and say, I can, you know, revitalize my career and be a 1st round pick next year.
Yeah, maybe Notre Dame.
Yeah,
maybe Notre Dame.
They win a lot of games. Got a good head coach.
Games, maybe Clemson. Maybe there's Clemson. There's opportunity there. I think he does. If I'm him, I transfer. I try to go to a big school, try to be the starting quarterback, and try and have a winning season. Maybe get into a college bowl, like a playoff game.
Yeah.
Go to a team because there's teams out there in the top 10 this year that are going to be looking for quarterbacks next year.
Yeah, 100%. You know, you're not getting the job back in Oklahoma.
No,
that kid can freaking play.
That's gone. You're not getting that job.
No. So yeah, lots of good games today. Cincinnati outside looking in, but there could be some chaos. Like I said, the Boilermakers are playing Oregon tonight. You got Oklahoma State, TCU. That TCU is always a tough out for all these teams. So we'll see what happens this evening. You're a Pats fan, and your former quarterback Cam Newton has resurfaced after 10 weeks of being idle, but he said he got vaccinated. He's been quiet. But he returned to his alma mater, so to speak, going back to Carolina to play with the Panthers after Sam Darnold hurt his shoulder, and he's also been playing some really poor football. So what do you make of Cam being back with the Panthers?
For Carolina, I think it's honestly just like a no-lose scenario in the sense of they've had quarterback trouble. So regardless of if Cam plays well or not, they're not going to blame it on Cam, right? They've had injuries in their quarterbacks. Cam's going to put he's going to put some people in the seats.
Yeah.
They're going to sell some jerseys again. I'm sure some Carolina fans probably aren't too happy about it, but all in all, I think it's a move that is kind of, for me, it's like, it just makes sense, I guess. I don't think they're looking at Cam going, you're going to rekindle it and bring us to the promised land for the years to come. But I think it's just a good move for the rest of the year, in my opinion.
Yeah, and it's a good bridge. Like we see a lot of teams that just don't have quarterback stability. You need a guy to play some, and then you get I think Jimmy Garoppolo's in a similar situation where they have Trey Lance. They know he's the future.
Yeah.
Carolina really doesn't have that guy. I'm sure they'll be looking for that guy in the draft, even though, like we just said, it's been a pretty lackluster year for quarterbacks in college football. But you could do worse than Cam, for sure. The fact that he was outside this long really is quite crazy to me. I think he could play over a lot of people in the NFL. You look at the backups, there's some bad Stid's on a roster. No offense to Stid, but he's not exactly an all pro. OBJ, Odell Beckham Jr. goes to the Rams. Surprised me. I didn't hear one person say the Rams. So I was like, okay, well, this is a puzzler. They did a good job of hiding this. What do you think of the fit? And do you think it will work long term?
I have mixed emotions on this one. I really do. You look at the OBJ is a great wide receiver. I think he can have dynamic plays downfield. But to me, I don't think the Rams need that. Like,
Yeah.
I think they have a good thing going on. Cooper Kupp's leading the league in receptions. They got Robert Woods. They got their other big. They got 3 of probably the top 10 receivers in the league right now.
Right.
I just don't see where you get him the touches. Like, I think here's the thing, if OBJ goes there and he says, listen, I'm okay with getting 2 to 3 receptions a game and maybe looking for a couple big plays downfield, I think that's fine. But if he's going in there with the attitude that I'm going to be the number 1 receiver there, then this thing could blow up quick. So
Right.
I think to me, it depends on where he sees himself fitting into a roster. You look at any team, it's do I want to be the 3rd line to 4th line left winger on a team to win a Stanley Cup, or do I want to be a 1st line left winger on a team that we win, 30 games and are golfing before playoffs even start, right? So to me, what's his mindset going into this? Is he looking to get 6 to 7 receptions a game and be number 1 guy, or is he okay with having 3 to 4 targets and, being a teammate? Honestly, I guess is the question. Being a teammate.
Yeah. I don't love it either. I think Green Bay would have been better. Like that would have been the best fit because he would have been the number 2. Like you said, I think Robert Woods or Van Jefferson.
Yeah.
I'm not convinced that he's above them because Stafford's played with them for 10 weeks. He hasn't threw one ball to OBJ. So who knows if they have any kind of chemistry. And I think it's more important for him to show that he's a good teammate than to show that he can make 6, 7 catches a game. Just me personally, because maybe his long-term future is not in LA because they're not gonna have a whole lot of cap room. They're going all in. They have no draft picks for 10 years. So they're trying to win a Super Bowl this year. But we know what he can do. But can you not be the prima donna? Can you just be a good teammate, be a good in the receiver room? Because let's just be honest, Ryder. Cooper Kupp's gonna get 10, at least targets a game. And he'll probably catch 9 of them because he's that damn good. And OBJ is going to be sitting on the other side a lot of times just running, and the ball's not going to be thrown his way.
Yeah. As we know in football, I think the most important word between receivers and quarterbacks is trust.
Yeah.
And right now, Stafford has trust in the receivers he's throwing to. We don't know if he has trust in OBJ. We have no idea until they get on the field and play a few games. But the biggest thing for LA is everyone's saying how awesome it is to play in LA and everyone's loving it. I hope this just doesn't turn the card over because everyone's having a good time there. You hear how great the offense is, how everyone's loving it, how just there's really no rumblings of like negativity in LA. Like I really hope this doesn't ruin that.
Right. Yeah, no, totally agree. Are you happy he didn't go to the Pats, or would you want him on the Pats?
The Pats could use him. It's just, I'm one of those guys, especially as a coach, what I do for a living, regardless of player, you just want to have good chemistry. Chemistry means a lot to me.
Right.
If he can go to LA and be a good teammate, my God, any team in the league would take him and love to have him if he's a good teammate.
Yeah.
But if he's not going to be a good teammate, which I don't know if he will or not, I'm not saying he will. I'm not saying he won't. That's for us to find out here in the coming weeks.
Couple months.
If he's going to be a good teammate, I'd love to have him. But if he's not, then no. You don't want someone in your locker room or on the field or whatever it may be who's going. If one group's pulling this way and this person's pulling the other way, it doesn't work.
Right.
You need everyone pulling the rope in the same direction. So we'll see. I guess we'll sit and watch over the next few weeks.
And I think you saw it with Baker Mayfield, and Baker Mayfield is probably a little bit more athletic than Mac Jones, but I do think the quarterbacks are very similar. And Baker's at his best when he throws to Donovan Peoples-Jones, or he throws it to Harrison Bryant or Austin Hooper, or dumps it off to his running backs. Mm-hmm. There's no, massive target that just says, hey, me. And I think for Mac, he's got Kendrick Bourne, who seems to have really good chemistry with. Jacoby Myers doesn't catch touchdowns, but he can catch everything else. He's great. I kind of want him to get one because they talk about it every week. I feel bad for the guy.
He just one. Give him one.
Yeah, give him one. Ramondre Stevenson, star from Oklahoma. He's starting to, Belichick's finally starting to play him. Good. Damian Harris. I think it's better as a young quarterback just to have, you don't have anybody that you have to throw it to.
Yeah.
You can throw a deep ball at Nelson Aguilar once, twice a game, like at Deshaun Jackson. But
Yeah.
otherwise, just take who's available. Hunter Henry's open. Check it. Throw it down the field. But I agree with you off the top. Mac Jones has been bar none the best rookie, and I think me and you talked about this. We would have taken Mac Jones ahead of Trey Lance.
Well, draft, like I said, when I know when you're talking on draft night, I called you a couple times. I couldn't have been happier about how the draft played out for the Patriots. It was awesome. And it's worked out. I'd say just what they thought it worked out. I think Mac Jones been exactly what we thought. I think he's not the best quarterback in the league right now. That's not what we're saying. But for a first-year quarterback, I think the biggest word for first-year quarterback is completions. He's making completions.
Yep.
So I'm very happy with the Patriots right now. As a fan of the Patriots, it's great to see that there's going to be hopefully promise here in the years to come.
Yeah, and great game this week. If there's one game this week that I could only watch one game, it would be Browns Patriots for me. I'm so intrigued by this game because I think the teams are so similar. Because like I said, the quarterbacks are similar. Matthew Judon, you talk about a baller. I think this guy's been the best free agent signing of the offseason. The guy is he's blowing people up off the edge. Myles Garrett might be the best defensive player in football this year. He's been a monster. But Pats have a great secondary with Adrian Phillips. He's been playing great the last couple of weeks. You got Denzel Ward for Cleveland. I just think these teams, their quarterbacks are similar. They got great defenses, strong offensive line play. They can run the ball. I'm just intrigued to see which coach can come up with a better scheme to stop the other, because you're looking at yourself in the mirror, to me anyway.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's one of those games where, for the most part, if you watch a sport for 10 years and you watch for the most part, you have kind of an idea of what's going to happen over. Let's say you're watching 10 games, probably 7 or 8 of them. You're like, okay, I think I know what's going to happen there. I mean, it might not.
Other than last week.
Exactly. But for some reason, I have no idea how this game's going to go. I have no clue. Patriots could win by 20. And I'd be like, oh, yeah, it makes sense. Or you could see Cleveland win by 25 and go, oh, okay, that makes sense. Or you could see it go to overtime and go, oh, that makes sense. Yeah. So I don't know. I'm very intrigued as well. I'm definitely going to be watching that game.
Yeah. No Nick Chubb. That helps. That helps the Patriots, of course. Dearness Johnson will start. Chubb's got COVID. So you said you don't know how it's going to go, but say confidence meter 0 to 100. How confident would you say that you are that the Pats get the win at home this week?
I would be on 1 to 10. I'm probably about a 5.5.
So just above. Yeah.
Just above, where I think they can find a way to get it done, especially with Chubb being out and they're at home. If they were on the road, I'd say maybe 4.5, but you got to give that extra point because they're at home.
Right.
I think they're going to find a way to pull it out. I hope they find a way to pull it out, because if they find a way to pull it out, they're still in the playoff mix. If they lose,
they're in the division race.
They're in a division race too, which is crazy to say. Yeah. But if they lose, I mean, look at Miami. I had them potentially being second. Oh, yeah. How'd that go? Yeah. But to me, I think it's the biggest game of the year for the Patriots, so I'll be watching.
Yeah, same for the Browns, because the AFC is so wide open. Like the Bills, we thought would be great. Well, they lose to the Jags and score 6 points last week. Like, come on. Ravens lose to the Fish on Thursday night. So Cincinnati's fallen off a cliff. Cleveland's got through the struggles. New England is there, but there's no team in the AFC that I have more than a 6 out of 10 confidence in.
No, right now. Same. It's none. That's why the AFC has become intriguing because it's bad. Yeah. Like, it's not bad. Maybe bad's not the right word, but just, I'd say inconsistent.
Yeah. Well, the Chiefs stink. Like, they're 5-4, but I have more faith in the Pats long-term than the Chiefs myself. I watched the Chiefs, Ryder, and Patrick Mahomes looks like a lost puppy. Like, it's honestly sad, because we saw this guy who was so great at that game against Green Bay last week. My God, was that tough to watch, because I was like, who's worse, Mahomes or Jordan Love? Like, it was honestly hard to tell.
It was it's normally one of those games where you'd be saying this is going to be an awesome game. It was a terrible football game.
Yeah.
I only got the second half of the game, but man, real boring. And it wasn't even like the defenses were playing that great. It was just kind of a boring game. But the AFC, it's all you could see potentially 10 different teams have a chance to make the playoffs in the AFC. Right,
and I think like the Pats could miss the playoffs potentially, but I think they could also go to the Super Bowl.
The AFC's wide open. Like That's why the game's so big.
I love the Browns before the season. I think they could catch fire here, especially you beat a good team like the Pats. They got the Ravens twice. They got a tough schedule down the stretch. But if they could catch fire, they could be in the Super Bowl. You never know. Like it could happen.
Well, I think you got to look to last year. Where were Tampa Bay at? I know we were having a talk with 5 or 6 weeks left. We were like, they're sitting in 5th right now. They might miss, but I think they're going to get in. If they get hot, they could go on a run. I think you have that possibility for about 5 or 6 teams in the AFC.
Right. And I kind of thought, okay, this might be Vegas's year that they go to New York and lose to the Giants. And then,
remember, I was all over Vegas.
Yeah.
They've let me down, man.
Yeah. Well, Vegas, and then the Broncos are sneaking back in now. They're 5-4.
And everyone's in the mix.
But then the Broncos beat the Cowboys last week. I think they got some garbage. They got Philly this week. They'll lose that game. They'll find a way to lose that game against Philly. But yeah, the AFC Chiefs at Vegas, Sunday Night Football, intriguing game. Who do you like there?
Oh man, like this is, you gotta like the Chiefs. I think. It's crazy that it's you're normally, you tell me that game, you'd say, I don't know, you think the Chiefs win by what's the number, 3 touchdowns or 4 touchdowns, right? But I think the Chiefs will find a way to win, but Vegas is sneaky as well. Big game for both teams. Like this week of football, today and tomorrow, between college and NFL is probably you say it every week, biggest week of the year, but there's so much stuff can happen in both leagues over the next 48 hours.
100%. Yeah. I mean, if the Chiefs win it, they're tied with the Raiders for top spot. I mean, the Chargers are right there as well. And the Broncos. So that could just be chaos down the stretch in that division. Chargers are playing the Vikings. They're 5-3, as are the Raiders. So
who do you like in that Raiders game Sunday night?
Raiders are at home. I like that. They just come off a loss to the Giants. That's embarrassing. Chiefs I have a hard time picking the Chiefs because I've watched their last 3 games and they look horrible. Like they should have lost to the Giants on Monday Night Football. And they won it, but the Giants stink. I'll take your Raiders at home.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're taking Raiders. I'm going to take Chiefs. So.
Okay. Yeah. Who knows though? That's pandemonium there. Mm-hmm. Like even a team like the Colts, they're 4-5 and they're not great. But like we said, it's wide open. Like they could catch fire and make the playoffs and go on a run because I don't love Carson Wentz, but they have a great team around him. They might have the best running back in football with Derrick Henry. Jonathan Taylor is a beast. Pittman Jr. out of USC is playing at a high level, and that's a good team.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like we said, this is the biggest week for the AFC.
Yes.
Yeah, I think the AFC is more intriguing than the NFC. The NFC is better, but I think the AFC is more intriguing, at least right now in this week of football.
Right. So, you said NFC games this week that'll be of interest. Bucks are back, but they're playing the Washington football team, so expect a win there. Cardinals are 8-1, best record in football. Do you have the most faith in them out of the NFC teams to make it to the Super Bowl?
Well, I think we touched on this last time where we asked who was the best team, and I had to go with Arizona. I think we still have to say Arizona you have to have the most faith in them because I'm saying that with like a question mark at the end. You should question mark. I think that, yes, I'm going to you got to look at the record. Yeah. They beat some good teams too.
They have.
Do I think the Rams are just as good? Yes. Do I think you have to say between the two of them, look, Arizona beat the Rams. So, I think you have to say Arizona, but do I think the Rams are really good as well? Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I would still probably have the most faith in the Bucs just because Tom Brady's there, but Their defense is so banged up, and I
Yeah.
worry about that long term. And Gronk can't play. I mean, he's injured every week. Antonio Brown hurt again. They still have great receivers, but I worry about just the depth of that team because Tom's great, but we've seen him in the past. He needs everything clicking. Like he needs a great defense. He needs all those things to win. Green Bay, Seattle. If Rodgers plays, obviously an interesting game. Russell Wilson come back off injury. Packers are 7-2 now. What did you make of that whole Aaron Rodgers saga and immunized and all that over the last couple of weeks?
Well, I don't think he made any friends
No,
over the last couple of weeks. I wouldn't say he was making friends.
Well, maybe in like Alabama.
Maybe down in Alabama, maybe Texas.
Fox News.
Yeah. I didn't love it. I'll tell you that. I didn't love it. I think he probably lost some sponsorship opportunities. And the biggest thing we know, there's more money to be made in sponsorships than there is in the league. So I think State Farm pays him a ton of money. We'll see if they stay on. I didn't love it. I'll be honest. I think it's going to hurt his reputation. I don't think it was like he didn't go out and kill someone.
Right. He's not OJ.
He's not OJ. But I wasn't a fan of it at all.
Yeah. He just seems he's a liar. That's just to break it down to brass tacks, but he's just a liar. You say he tried to be slick, immunized. Okay, professor.
You got caught in a lie and I don't want to come off as saying it's not bad because it is bad, but there could have been it could have done something a lot worse, but
Absolutely.
Not saying what he did was right. I think what he did was completely wrong. And I would never do that. Knock on wood. I know I wouldn't.
Right.
I'd like to think most people wouldn't do that. They would lie about a vaccination. Do I think he probably should have had more of a penalty? Yes.
$14,000 is basically like giving us a $2 fine.
It's a joke. The fact to me that was the more of what I was mad about was the I think they should have suspended him a couple games to honestly, at least.
Yeah, I agree. The fact that he could only come back today to the facility, they should have suspended him for today's game and just made it easier.
Yeah, 1,000%. That's what I think I'm more mad about. More about how the league handled that and I'm mad about what he did because it's wrong and it shouldn't have been done. And we shouldn't be talking about this because it's wrong. But at the same time, the league really dropped the ball on it as well.
Yeah. The NFL loves to do that. They could have set an example. And, the people that say quarterbacks get all this special treatment, well, they have a good argument today because it was shown. Yeah. Because if that was a third string running back, he's suspended.
Yeah. The problem now is what's stopping someone else from doing it.
Right. Yeah.
If I'm someone else who's unvaccinated.
I mean, Evander Kane got a 21-game suspension.
Yeah. Right. So there you go. There's a fourth of the year. Right. So in NFL, why don't you do that? Why don't you do 3 or 4 games? Why don't you send a message? If this to me is showing that the pandemic doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's just not a good look on the league. Or Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, no, 100%. They got Seattle this week, so that should be an interesting game. He'll likely be on the field, but nothing confirmed yet. The Dallas Cowboys, they get just destroyed by the Denver Broncos last week. That was one of the many upset games last week. They now welcome the Falcons, who had a big win over the Saints. They're a quiet 4-4. Matt Ryan's playing some good football down there. Is this a trap game for the Cowboys?
Yes, I think it is. I don't think I think they're going to win the game.
Yeah.
But man, if they lose this, that's 2 weeks in a row that teams they should beat. Next thing you know, you go from 6-1 to 6-3.
Right.
The good thing is their division stinks.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they're going to get that 4 seed. They could lose a few more games. They're going to find that 4 seed because their division stinks. But I don't. I think knowing the way the Cowboys are, this is a game they're probably going to lose, even though they shouldn't.
Right. Yeah. It's definitely a trap game because, like you said, they should win it. They know they should win it, and it would prove this week that they're a different team if they go in there and just crush the Falcons. Like they play great on defense. Dak looks great, and it's not even a competition. It's just they destroy them. The narrative of what can go wrong will go wrong, which we've heard about from the Dallas Cowboys for decades now. That's put to bed. This is a new team, and you move forward. You're 7-2, and you feel good about yourself.
Listen, everyone has a bad game.
Yeah,
they had a bad game. It happens, right? There's not too many teams that are gonna go undefeated. You're going to have a bad game in any sport. Now, what do you do after the bad game? As a coach, let's say you have a bad game Saturday night. You play Sunday. Okay, guys, what are we going to do tomorrow? Are we going to have the same effort or are we going to change? We know we're a better team than what we brought out there tonight. So what's going to happen? Very interested and intrigued to see what the Cowboys do this week.
Yeah. If they do lose this week, do you think there should be genuine panic in Dallas?
Well, yes and no. Yeah, no to win the division. You're gonna win the division probably. You win the division eight or what is it? There's 17 games now. God, you can win the division 8-9.
Yeah.
But should there be concern about where you stack up in the NFC? Absolutely.
Yeah, because like I said, the Rams are great. The Bucs are still there. Green Bay looks good. Obviously, like I said, the Cardinals are 8-1. Other than the NFC teams this week that are great. You feel like the Cowboys will beat the Falcons, so we'll move on from that one. Cardinals, Panthers. Think Cardinals get a win there?
I do. Yeah.
Okay. Packers, Seahawks.
Interesting game. Interesting game. Where's the game?
Green Bay.
Okay, so then if it's in Green Bay, you mean no Seattle is Jekyll and Hyde at home and on the road. So I'm going to take Green Bay.
Okay, and then Rams, 49ers on Monday night.
Oh, to me, that's going to be an exciting game to watch. I like the Rams.
Yeah, I agree. I think that the teams that should win will bounce back this week, and obviously the Bucs are in Washington. I didn't even bring that game up, but
I think that the NFC, the teams that should win, probably will win this week. I think the AFC is wide open. I'm staying away from the AFC is going to be interesting as for some lines. If you're looking for some action,
right,
going to be real intriguing to see what happens there.
Let me throw an upset by you.
Okay.
Lions over the Steelers.
Man, the way the Steelers played, the way the Steelers have been playing, what
the Lions are going to beat somebody.
Is the game in Detroit?
Steelers
game
short
in
week,
Detroit, right?
In Pittsburgh.
In Pittsburgh. Oh, okay. Oh man, we know the Lions. Well, the crazy thing about Pittsburgh, we know Pittsburgh always finds a way to lose a game that they shouldn't.
Right.
Second half of the year.
Like they lost to Cincinnati on Monday night last year.
Yeah, exactly. Man, it wouldn't be the craziest thing in the world. It really wouldn't. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but they're not many teams go 0-16, 0-17. So
yeah,
fuck it. Yeah, let's do it. I'm in.
I thought they were going to beat the Eagles a few weeks ago because the Eagles stink, but then the Eagles beat them like 48-6. I was like, okay, that was.
I was looking at that game honestly as potentially their win, and then they were down 17 points at like 3 minutes in. I was like, okay, that can happen, but sure, let's do it. I love it. I'm in. Okay. I'm in. I will. You know what? You know what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna throw $20 on the Lions on Sunday.
Oh wow, I like it. Yeah,
I'm gonna throw $20 on the Lions.
There's a game every week. It's squirrely, and I kind of look at that one and like the Steelers. If they win, they're 6-3. Like they're not a 6-3 team. Like they're not that good.
Let's do it. I'm in. Let's go on the Lions train this weekend.
All right. Yeah, I like it. Jared Goff gets his first win as a Lion. He turns it around. So Saints Titans, another interesting game. No Kamara, but Tennessee's a quiet 7-2. They're so.
Now, question: is there any chance they can get Derrick Henry back?
I think it's a small chance.
Is there like a 10% chance you can get him back for playoffs?
Yeah. I think
I love Tennessee. I really do. I love what they're doing there.
Yeah, me too. I wish they could get him back because he's such a huge part of that team. But maybe Ryan Tannehill, balls out, shows people what he can do. So good opportunity.
Adrian Peterson, man, AP, did all right there last week.
Yeah, gets a touchdown rush last week. So maybe he finds it at 36, can find some of that old form in Minnesota. I wanted to talk about before we wrap today about teams that might have different quarterbacks next year. And I kind of talked about this on Monday, and I was kind of going through different teams, and I think there's so many was my conclusion that I think potentially could. I think half the league could. So I'll just start off by naming some teams for you, and we'll go from there.
Okay, let's do it.
Pittsburgh Steelers.
No, I think they're going to start with Roethlisberger next year.
Really?
Yeah, I do. I think I don't think he finishes the year next year, but I think he's going to start the year.
Okay. Interesting. I think if they do move on, a good bridge quarterback would be porn star Jimmy Garoppolo.
What's the porn scene like there?
I'll have to do some more research on that.
Okay, do some research and get back to me.
Yeah, I'll call Lisa Ann. Minnesota Vikings.
Oh man, I think Kirk Cousins I think everyone needs to change there.
Yeah. But he's got great stats.
I think Minnesota,
they're 3-5. Like,
who knows if they do? But my God, do they? Like, they do need to change.
Carolina.
Well, who are we comparing Carolina to? Cam Newton now?
Sam Darnold.
No, I think they're going to go back to Sam Darnold.
Ooh, interesting. Okay. Cleveland.
No.
They go back to Baker. Yeah, I think so too. It just depends on the contract for me. Maybe that could go squirrely, but who knows? Denver Broncos.
No.
What?
No.
Teddy Two Gloves is back?
Yeah, I don't. What are they? Who are they going to look to get? I guess would be the question.
Yeah,
right.
I know that's the thing.
Kirk Cousins, right? Like they're not going to draft. There's no quarterback in. I really do believe that there's no quarterback in the NCAA that is going to start next year in the NFL.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I don't see one yet either. Maybe one emerges. Yeah, but. Every analyst will be saying play them, so we'll wait to hear that.
I think there's a lot of teams that should have a new quarterback in place.
Yes,
but the question is, I just don't think there's a lot of. I don't think there's a lot of options out there right now. If we're being honest,
right? No, that's fair. Houston.
Yes.
Tyler Taylor.
Yes, I think they will have a new quarterback.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think it'll be Davis Mills either. Miami.
Oh, okay. So Miami, are we saying other than Brissett or Tagovailoa?
Yeah.
Other than those two?
Yep.
Yeah, I think the guy's not playing in the league right now. I think Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. I think somehow they get that trade done. And what'll be interesting to see is where Tua goes, because I don't think Houston wants him. Hearing reports about the trade, he wasn't included. So that would be, I think that's more from Houston than Miami, because I don't think
there's a guy who could end up in the Denver Broncos.
Right. Yeah.
Maybe. You're saying who's that? That would be it. If let's say Miami moves on from Tagovailoa, there's a guy who might get a starting role somewhere else.
Right. Fair. Yep. Atlanta.
Oh man, is Ryan going to do another year? Like, I feel like Atlanta's just like, well, let's just keep her going until he retires.
But he's playing good football.
He's playing all right football. You know what? Yeah, I think they're going to have him back just because it's not like last year where there's 5 different options at quarterback to go for top 5, right? I just don't see that there. So I'm going to say yes, Atlanta sticks with Ryan for one more year.
New Orleans Saints. Jameis Winston.
No, Winston's back.
Yeah, I kind of think so too. He was playing well until he blew his knee, so I think they'll bring him back.
He's not playing because he was playing bad. Like he's not out of the lineup from a lack of ability. He's out for injury.
Yep. New York Giants.
Oh man. They should. No, they won't. They'll give him one more year.
Oh,
they'll start him. They will.
That's it. I just kind of think they're going to change because I think they're going to fire Dave Gettleman. I think they're going to fire Joe Judge. And I think he goes with them. Gettleman drafted him. He just turns the ball over too much.
Jug, it's hard to say because I hate the Giants. The Giants are so irrelevant that I just don't even watch them play. That is to say, is like someone who follows the league every week.
Right.
I couldn't care less about the Giants.
Yeah, I hear you. No, I totally agree. They're meh. They
Yeah,
don't do anything.
They're just honestly, I'll throw on another sport if the Giants are on. I really will. Like if the
Yeah.
Giants are on Sunday Night Football or Monday Night Football, it really does. I struggle to watch those games. I'll watch them, but I do struggle.
Yeah. No, I hear you. Philadelphia Eagles.
Man, there's a lot of teams that are on the fence, right? Yeah, I think, just because of the fact of there's not many other options out there, I'm going to say they stay the same.
Yeah, I think Jalen Hurts is better than people give him credit for too. Like, I think he's actually pretty good. The team around him is not very good. I mean, that doesn't get acknowledged enough, but I do think he's a good quarterback. He's athletic. He can throw. I like him.
Yeah.
Green Bay.
Oh, buddy. Put me on the spot with these, Jug. You really put me on the spot. I think Rodgers goes somewhere else.
What if he goes to Denver?
Yeah, I think Rodgers goes somewhere else. I really do.
Yeah. That'd be
I guess there's Green Bay. There's Green Bay going to have a new quarterback. So
Jordan Love.
That answers that question.
Yeah. Yeah. Jordan Love, new quarterback, no QB1 at Green Bay.
See where his family was sitting at that game is in Kansas City.
That's
my God. I think I was in Marysville, Fredericton, New Brunswick. I think I was closer to the seats than his family was.
Oh yeah. You definitely were, because that was, I felt bad for.
I did too. That's kind of embarrassing by the league. I really do believe that.
Yeah. Yeah. That was so uncalled for, but it was kind of funny at the same time.
Yeah, exactly. Uncalled for, you feel bad, but boy, I got to laugh out of it.
Yeah. San Francisco, Jimmy Garoppolo.
Porn star stays in San Francisco.
What?
Yes.
As the backup or the starter?
As the backup.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
I think Lance is the quarterback. I think porn star Jimmy stays, and they look to move him at next year's trade deadline. I think they hold on to him, and then they look to get something for him potentially next year when teams are struggling and going, I need a quarterback.
Right.
That's where I'm on at that.
Yeah, I could see that happening, or potentially maybe right before the draft, because you want some draft capital. So
they're going to use him to try and get something for sure.
Yeah. New York Jets, Zach Wilson.
No, Zach will get another year.
Yeah. What if
you got to give him
Mike
2
White
years.
Starts balling out? Maybe he gets a starting job elsewhere.
Yeah, I think Zach Wilson, you got to give him 2 years. He took him second overall. It's just if you cut on him now, like you could end up really throwing away something special. You got to give him another year.
Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah. Detroit Lions, Jared Goff.
No, they're gonna go Goff again, man. They're gonna be bad for a couple years.
Yeah.
Well, like you're looking at this saying you want these teams to be good right away. Like some of these teams are gonna be bad, man.
You're right. You
can't have 32 good teams or 31 good teams.
Yeah, I would like to get a quarterback if I'm gonna suck to make less money than Jared Goff.
Yeah, exactly, right. But now I think Goff's still gonna be there, man.
Yeah, Washington football team, Taylor Heineke.
Man, there's so many teams, buddy.
Yeah.
We're just literally it's gonna be interesting offseason. Draft's gonna be fun draft coming up.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say they're gonna stick with Heineke.
Yeah. I mean, if it was just a better draft, then But I think we'll see the bad teams reach and draft. Pickett looks good, but who knows? Ritter. But I think you'll see teams just coming over and be like, I think this guy looks pretty good. And be like, okay, we got to take him. And then you're like, okay, this guy's out of the league in a year and a half,
Well, if that happens, I mean, we saw it. If that happens, there's going to be some awesome position players that will go.
Yes.
If that does happen, if teams stretch and reach, if we do see 3 or 4 quarterbacks go in the first round, which I don't believe we should, if we do, there's going to be some great position players.
Well, I think your man Kyle Hamilton out of Notre Dame, he's going to be a top 5 pick.
Man, he is a football player.
Yes.
He's so exciting to watch. I love watching that guy play.
I also love watching Aidan Hutchinson from Michigan. That dude, because I like him for a couple of reasons. Big, strong guy. He's fast, but he's also a big old white guy. He's out there, D-line, when you see all the great Obviously the great black players, but Aidan Hutchinson, just a little, like me or you, just a white guy out there throwing people around, and he's a problem on the edge.
There's some good edge players, and he's one of them,
Yeah.
man. You got to tip your cap to him. He's excited. As much as I don't like Michigan, I like watching him play.
Yeah.
But there's going to be some good position players available in the draft.
Oh, absolutely. So yeah, great week coming up. Like you said, wild AFC, the NFC is a little bit more predictable. We know the great teams, the haves from the have-nots, if you will. College football today should be interesting. The rankings will be able to get on Tuesday, so I'm sure we'll be bickering about that in the days to come. But Ryder, thanks for joining me. I always enjoy our conversations. What's on the horizon this week for you and with champions?
This week, actually this weekend is a day off. I'm going to enjoy some football. I'm going to go watch a bit of the Buster Harvey tournament, Pee Wee AAA tournament. Honestly, one of the best well-run tournaments in Atlantic, Canada. The U13 level is great at the rink last night. Some buzz around the rink, people watching games. It was awesome to see. So I'm gonna go check out some games this morning, watch some football this afternoon, this evening. I coach the Bantam AAA minor team in Fredericton. We're down in Moncton tomorrow. So go for some games there. And then next weekend is the Monctonian, which is back. And I'm hoping to get down for a day. And I know you're hoping to get down as well. So I'm sure hopefully connect here and watch some hockey next weekend. But things are good, Jug. Thanks for having me on. And man, it's going to be a good weekend of football. Cannot wait to watch some football. I'm sure we'll have some texts going back and forth here over the next 24, 48 hours.
Absolutely. So thanks again to Ryder. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Enjoy the football. Have a great weekend, and we'll talk Monday.